It all began with a whisper, a quiet dream born from the minds of those who looked up at the night sky and felt a profound sense of connection. In the late summer of 1977, humanity prepared to send two remarkable emissaries into the vast, silent ocean of space. These were not just machines of metal and wire, they were extensions of our own curiosity, our own yearning to understand what lies beyond our small blue world. On a warm Florida morning, Voyager 2 was the first to leave, lifting from the launch pad on a pillar of fire and hope. It tore a hole in the sky, a brilliant fleeting scar that marked the beginning of an unprecedented journey into the unknown depths of our solar system. Just 16 days later, its twin, Voyager 1, followed suit, embarking on a faster, more direct trajectory. The two spacecraft, nearly identical, were designed for a mission of extraordinary ambition. A rare alignment of the outer planets, a celestial coincidence that occurs only once every 176 years, presented a unique opportunity. It was a chance to perform a grand tour, using the gravity of one giant planet to slingshot the craft towards the next. This cosmic ballet would allow the Voyagers to visit Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune in a single sweeping voyage. The first great encounter was with Jupiter, the undisputed king of our solar system. The images they sent back were breathtaking. They revealed a world of violent beauty, a canvas of swirling colors, creams, oranges, and deep rusty reds. The Great Red Spot, a storm large enough to swallow Earth whole, was seen not as a static feature but as a dynamic churning vortex, a hurricane that has raged for centuries. The Voyagers made one of their most stunning discoveries: active volcanoes on Io, one of Jupiter's 4 largest moons. It was the first time active volcanism had been seen anywhere other than Earth. After conquering Jupiter, the Voyagers set their sights on the next jewel of the solar system, Saturn. These rings resolved from a solid, shimmering band into a breathtakingly intricate system of thousands of individual ringlets. The rings were not solid but composed of countless particles of ice and dust, each orbiting Saturn in a delicate cosmic dance. The spacecraft also discovered several small shepherd moons that orbit near the edges of the rings. Titan, the largest moon, was a primary target. Its thick, nitrogen-rich atmosphere, shrouded in an orange haze, was found to be even denser than Earth's. The journey to Uranus took nearly 5 years, a long and silent passage through the deepening cold. When it finally arrived in 1986, it revealed a world unlike any other. Uranus is tilted on its side, its axis pointing almost directly at the sun. This bizarre orientation means its seasons are extreme, with each pole experiencing 42 years of continuous sunlight, followed by 42 years of darkness. 3 years later, in the summer of 1989, Voyager 2 reached its final planetary target, Neptune. This deep blue world proved to be far more dynamic than Uranus, with the fastest winds in the solar system, raging at over 1,200 miles per hour. Triton, Neptune's largest moon, was a world of incredible contrasts. Voyager 2 captured images of dark plumes erupting from its icy surface, geysers of nitrogen gas and dust shooting miles into its thin atmosphere. Attached to the side of each Voyager spacecraft is a golden disk, a gleaming artifact that carries the story of our world. This is the Golden Record, a 12-inch gold-plated copper disc designed to be a message in a bottle, cast into the cosmic ocean. It was the brainchild of a committee chaired by the late astronomer Carl Sagan, who envisioned it as a greeting to any extraterrestrial civilization that might one day intercept the spacecraft. The contents of the record were chosen with immense care, aiming to represent the whole of humanity. It begins with 115 images that depict our world and our species, and there are photographs of us, of human beings in all our diversity, eating, drinking, running, learning, and caring for one another. It is truly a family album of Earth, a visual poem about who we are. The record also contains a rich tapestry of sounds. There is the sound of wind and rain, the crashing of waves on a shore, and the calls of birds and animals. These are followed by spoken greetings in 55 different languages, ancient and modern, beginning with Akkadian, spoken in Sumer about 6,000 years ago, and ending with Wu, a modern Chinese dialect. Finally, the record carries 90 minutes of music, a selection chosen to represent the breadth of human culture. It includes classical masterpieces from Bach, Beethoven, and Stravinsky, and more modern pieces like Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Goode. The music is perhaps the most emotionally resonant part of the message, a universal language that speaks of our joy, our sorrow, our creativity, and our spirit. Oh, and if these stories inspire you, do leave a like, comment your favorite Voyager moment, and subscribe for more space tales. After their final planetary goodbyes, the two Voyagers continued their journey outward, sailing toward a boundary that no object from Earth had ever crossed. For decades, they traveled through the heliosphere, the vast bubble of space dominated by the sun's magnetic field and the solar wind. But as the Voyagers flew farther from home, the influence of the sun began to wane. They were approaching the edge of our cosmic nest, the frontier where the sun's breath finally gives way to the ancient winds of the galaxy. In August of 2012, Voyager 1 made history. At a distance of about 11 billion miles from Earth, it detected a sudden and dramatic change in its environment. The data was clear. Voyager 1 had punched through the heliopause, the outer boundary of the heliosphere. It had left the solar system and entered the space between the stars. It was now, and forever would be, an interstellar traveler. The feeling of this moment is one of awe and a strange sense of solitude. 6 years later in 2018, Voyager 2 followed its twin, crossing the heliopause and also entering interstellar space. Now that the Voyagers are drifting through the interstellar void, a profound question hangs in the silence. Will they ever be found? The odds, it must be said, are infinitesimally small. For an alien civilization to find one of them would require a level of luck that borders on the miraculous. It would be like finding a single, specific grain of sand on all the beaches of the world. If, by some cosmic chance, one of the Voyagers were to be intercepted by intelligent beings, they would hold in their hands a remarkable artifact. The diagrams on the cover would be their first puzzle, a set of instructions leading them to the treasure within. They would have to decipher our science, our understanding of physics and time, just to figure out how to play the record. If they succeed, what would they make of us? Would they understand our emotions? Would they recognize the love in a mother's smile, the curiosity in a scientist's gaze, or the sorrow in a piece of blues music? Perhaps the true purpose of the golden record was never for aliens, but for us. It forced us to think about how we would represent ourselves, to distill the entirety of the human experience into a single cohesive message. The Voyagers will continue their silent journey long after their instruments have fallen quiet. Their plutonium power sources will decay, and their final transmissions will cease, leaving them to drift forever in the galactic currents. They will outlast us. They will outlast our cities, our monuments, and perhaps even our planet itself. They represent the very best of us, our ingenuity, our collaborative spirit, and our capacity for wonder. To follow their path is to feel a sense of connection to something far larger than ourselves. It is to be reminded that we are part of a grand cosmic narrative, a story that is still being written across the vast canvas of space and time. The golden record, our message to the cosmos, is a symbol of hope. The record is a statement that, for all our flaws and our conflicts, there is a fundamental goodness and beauty to the human experience that deserves to be remembered. And so, the journey continues, in silence and in darkness. The two Voyagers, our robotic children, drift farther and farther away, carrying their precious cargo into the unknown. They are a whisper in the vastness of the galaxy, a testament to the fact that for a brief moment in cosmic history, a species called humanity existed, and it had a story to tell. Somewhere, drifting between the stars, our story is still playing.